So I will give you maybe, let's go with 3 more minutes. We'll start at 8:35 going over page 3. So in the meantime, I would like you guys working on page 3 of this review packet, and we will go over it in a couple minutes. Okay, let's go over this. The first thing I want to say is when I give you these, I want you working on them. And I don't want to see you sitting there staring at them. If you don't know the answer, that is when you should be looking things up. Many of these answers, that's why I actually just asked you if you had this packet. A lot of things in here could have been found. Yes, the latitude and longitude of those points you had to figure out on your own. But latitude and longitude, a lot of that information was here. So here's where you could have looked. This is the Earth's dimensions page. So it tells you a lot about latitude and longitude there. Talks about the altitude of Polaris there. And then the last couple of questions were a review from this last chapter we just did, which right there on the front page of your packet was that information. You guys have to start doing your part. One thing I heard this morning is, so just a reminder, do you guys know what day your Earth Science Regents is? Not today. Your Earth Science Regents is June 20th in the morning. So when I say your Earth Science Regents, I'm not talking about the lab portion, which yes, starts today. So if you're an ACE Day lab person, that's today. BDF, that's tomorrow. Some of you are taking it on Monday or Tuesday if you've gotten a little sheet of paper telling you that. But for that lab or for the actual Regents, that is a whole week after you've been in school. One thing I know over the past year, when I give you guys a test on Monday, you all whine and complain and say, over the weekend, I'm going to forget everything you taught me. That's a weekend. That's only 2 days. You have a Regents 7 days after the last time you were in my room. So I know you guys. You think 2 days you're going to erase your brain. A week. You have to. Even if you don't normally study, you're going to need to refresh your brains on the stuff we've learned in that week period. Technically, it's still a school day. So officially, you should still be in school. So devote a few minutes of each one of those 7 days to reviewing some of your earth science. Some of you have math exams. You guys have global exams. You're supposed to be spending those days not just having fun. Yes, you are lucky. You will have some time to not focus on school during that week, but you need to be putting in some effort on your own. And when I'm giving you time in class, you really need to be putting that effort into studying. I'm sorry to sound like a Debbie Downer here, but you guys have to put in the effort over these next couple of weeks to make sure that you do good. So on that note, let's go over these. What was the latitude and longitude of point B? What'd you get? All right, what'd you get, TJ? We'll go around the room for answer number 1. Point B, what's the latitude and longitude? That works. I did put 40 degrees north and 120 degrees west. Your answer might have, yeah, your answer was probably a little better than mine. Things to point out, you need the north, you need the west. Officially, latitude goes first, then longitude. However, TJ covered his butt because he did reverse it and went longitude. No, he went latitude, then longitude, but he correctly labeled them. So as long as you have the correct labels, the order doesn't matter this year. Yeah.
How much money do you have in this number?
Probably in this one, 5, I'd say. With this type of map where they don't go into details, versus what I'm getting at, they might be smaller on this map where there's a small, like easier to estimate on this one. They might only give you like 2. Okay. So yeah, they don't have to be dead on. Ruby, what'd you get for 2? The latitude and longitude of C. Yep, and so, okay, I had 30 degrees south. Your answer was absolutely perfect though. And again, 70 degrees west. Would you have Sky for number 3, latitude and longitude of G? Yep. I had 70. That might be me. Yeah, it's not quite right on 80, but I would absolutely give you 80. So I did have 75 degrees east. How many degrees separate each time zone, Riley? You know that one? Who remembers that? It's a fun fact. Did you just got to remember off the top of your head, or you check your notes and it will tell you in here, right there, 24 time zone. The earth rotates 15 degrees per hour. So I guess it doesn't tell you exactly, but if you do 360 divided by 24 hours, that's where you'll get 15 degrees per hour. There are 15 degrees between time zones. How many degrees of longitude are in each time zone? Well, that's 15. If you go east, what happens to the time? Colton, you got that one? If we go east, does it get earlier or later, or however you wanted to write it?
No.
Number 6. Yes, if you go east, it gets later in the day. So what happens if you go west, Jonathan, for number 7? What? No, if you go west, it gets earlier. How I remember that, if you guys don't, first of all, you may know this because if you're watching a football game that normally starts at 1 o'clock and it's on the West Coast, you got to watch it later in the day. So it's later on the East Coast than it is on the West. Or one thing I think of is the Old West. If you think of the phrase Old West, it's telling you it's earlier in time. It's also, so same goes with the time zones. When you go west, it's earlier. If it's 6 a.m. at point 1, what time is it at point 2? So if it's 6 a.m. here, what time is it at point 2? Where the heck is point 2? Oh, right there. By the way, what's the latitude, or I'm sorry, the longitude of point 2? Go with 15 degrees. So what is the time difference? How many time zones are there? Nope, not one time zone. Remember, they go every 15. So here to here is 1. Here to here is another. Here to here is another, and there to 60. So how do you do this? 0 to 15 is one time zone. Add 15 more. So 15 to 30 is another time zone. Add another 15. So 30 to 45 is a time zone. Then 45 to 60 is a time zone. So if you're here and it's 6 a.m., does it get earlier or later as we go to 2? Later. So it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. at point 2. Time zones are 15 degrees apart. If the altitude of Polaris is 42 degrees, what's your latitude? Yeah, 42 what? Degrees north. When they ask a latitude, you need north, south, east, or west. If your latitude is 61 degrees, what's your altitude of Polaris? 61 degrees. No north required there. What is the altitude of Polaris if your latitude is 41 degrees south? That's the answer. Can't see Polaris. Guys, by the way, not seeing Polaris is not the same as 0. If you see Polaris at 0 degrees, where are you? The equator. So you cannot see Polaris in the south. So don't say that their latitude is 0 then. If you're in the south, you just can't see it. What latitude gets the most direct sun on June 21st? Something you just got to memorize? 23.5 degrees north, or the Tropic of Cancer. They're the same place. What latitude gets the most direct sunlight on December 21st? 23.5 degrees south, or the Tropic of Capricorn. What latitude gets the most direct sunlight on March 21st? 0 degrees, that's the equator. And how about on 23.5, or on September 23rd? Again, 0 or the equator. That is everything you need to be able to do. The only thing that this did not cover, let me just review with you real quick. The latitude and longitudes given in our reference table. Where is the prime meridian? Where is 0 degrees on this reference table? Off to the side. So you will get a brand spanking new reference table without your labels on it that we drew on these. One thing you might want to do is remind yourself of that. Get your brand spanking new reference table. Draw in the equator. And you might want to label that these numbers are north and these numbers are south. Then draw in the prime meridian and remind yourself that this way is east. And because the world is a circle, these are also east to 180. And then you might want to remind yourself from 0 to 180, these are west. That is all things that will not be on your reference table that you might want to quickly add once you get your reference table back, or your brand new one during the exam. So speaking of the exam, so it was brought to my attention, some people aren't sure what the test is going to look like. The earth science test looks a little different than the living environment test. So what it will be, and a few of you got the original copy. The copy that I gave you was shrunk down, but this is the original test. This is the one that you guys have had that you've been working on in your homework. So it is a packet. And the first 60 questions, no, I lied. The first 50 questions are multiple choice. You do not answer them in this test booklet. I will give you a scan, like a bubble sheet that'll have your name on it already, and you'll bubble in the answers for the multiple choice. Then for the short answer, you'll get one of these yellowish, tannish, I don't know what color you want to call this, cream colored packets. And this is where you'll write your answers for questions 51 through 85. With these, you can see some of them already have units on them, so you don't have to worry about adding units to some of them. But the directions will always tell you if you have to do units or not. This is on June 20th. Any questions about what the test looks like or how to do it? All right, let's go through the answers then. I have not gone over questions 51 to 66 yet. And then you had last night's homework. So let's just go through all the answers. Well, okay. All right, so what I'm just gonna start with is giving you the answers, and then we can go over the rest, or go over any you have questions about. So grab your answer sheet or wherever you wrote your answers. The answer to question 51 is Mercury. 52, you could have given me any answer from 227.9 all the way up to 778.4, but not either one of those numbers. It has to be in between. So I picked 500, but again, you could have picked anything in between. Wow, I spelled crater, or did I spell it right? Number 54 is craters. Spelled it wrong, right? What's wrong? Creators, yeah, that's what definitely looks like a word, but not craters. Hey, spelling's not checked on the earth science region. So as long as your answer makes sense, so yes, mine says creators, but craters works. You can clearly tell that. Don't say aliens. That would be wrong, but I guess don't write creators. That's just wrong. See, somebody spell it for me.
C-R-A-T-E-R-S.
Right, craters, not creators. That's wrong. That might mean like some other creature. Anyway, being hit by meteors. That would be one answer. Getting hit by asteroids would be a good answer. 53, that's 1 p.m. 53 for Los Angeles, that's 10 a.m. And 56 is Austin. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. Thank you. 57 is Miocene, and no, I didn't spell that one wrong because I looked it up while I was writing it. We got 58, 60 or 16.6 kilometers per year. 59, diverting water for farming. An effect could be that the lake dried up. 60, warmer and less. 61, Lake Erie. 62, water would evaporate. 63, water would soak into the soil. 64, hotter and greater. 65, universe, however you pronounce that word, and then Polaris. Work with me here, folks. 66, Breccia. 67, slow. 68.2. Then you did have to plot the hurricane. How I would have to grade this one is they would give me a clear copy of this as an answer. And I would have to put my clear answer sheet. I might have an example of this. It does not look like I have an example. So I would take that clear answer and put it over yours. They would give you a little bit of wiggle room for the answers, but not much. So does yours look like that? Yeah. All right. 75. 71, the lower the pressure, the higher the wind speed. 72, you had to draw in these two ISO lines. So they would have, again, this one I can use a clear answer sheet, but as long as you put them in between the right numbers. So like this line had to go in between the 27 and the 33. It didn't matter if it was really close to one or the other, as long as it looked in the right spot. 73, again, your answer could have been between 60 and 70, but not 60 or 70, so I went 65. 74, January. In January, X receives 40 to 60, and in July, X receives 10 to 20. That one I'm guessing, I don't remember the question. Could it have just been less and then more, or more and then less? Let me look. Nope, they did say determine the amount of precipitation, use both January and July in your answer. So following their directions, that would have been close to the answer. And then 75, again, any answer between 400 and 900, I picked 800. Which one should we go over? I definitely heard some moaning and groaning as I went over that. How'd the plotting go? That one sounded a little questionable. Question 69 is the one I'm talking about. The directions said, on the map in your answer booklet, plot the 5 locations of the center of Hurricane Michael indicated by the latitude and longitude shown in table 1. Connect all 5 plots with a line. So here are, and hopefully you had read through all of this directions. You had looked at the table. Here is the latitude, there is the longitude for the 5 plots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where you got the numbers to plot that. Really, you guys all aced it. You got 100. Yeah? You got 100, Nick. Yeah. Awesome. Give me one that you got wrong. Start with Taylor. Give me one you got wrong. Thank you. I just know, I watched your face when I was going over it. I got 57. Let's take a look at it. Name the geological epoch in which the Aral, I don't know how you pronounce that, sea formed. So reading through here, it would have told you, it is estimated to have formed 5.5 million years ago. And we needed an epoch. So we learned about those here on pages, what are these, 8 and 9. And again, it said 5.5 million years ago. Here's the million years ago. There's 5.3, there's 23. So we were in between those two, and that's where that answer came from, the Miocene. Can I ask what you put? This one? This one? That one, that O one? So that was just a little too well. So just looking right at those numbers. Or did you use, no, you did. Did you use this number right here? Yeah, that's the surface area. So that, okay, so at least we know where that's coming from. And again, that's something they probably expected you to do. So that's a case of not reading all of the words and labels on the table. And that is something they totally tried to make you do. Kayla, give me one you got wrong. Okay, give me another one. Or did you get a 99? Yeah, knew it. You didn't get it wrong. Okay, Cam, give me one you got wrong. 65. List these things. So there's that word I don't know. Polaris and the universe in order by their inferred age from oldest to youngest. So they did have listed here that word that I don't know how to pronounce and Polaris. They didn't list the universe though. How old is the universe compared to the stars that are in it? Old. The universe is the oldest thing. Anything that formed inside the universe has to be younger than the universe. So the universe is the oldest, then that, and then that one. So just remember that the universe is older than everything else. The universe had to be there for the stars to form in it. Colton, you get one wrong? That we haven't gone over already?
64 the second.
64. In your answer booklet, circle the relative surface temperature and luminosity of that thing compared to the surface and luminosity of our sun. So they tell us that, however you pronounce that word, they have a surface temperature of 8,900. So 8,900, where would that put us on this? Oh my, I can't keep writing utensils. Here's 8,000, there's 9,000. So 8,900 somewhere in this general vicinity. So that is, notice if our sun is here, we're going this way, which is weird that that gets warmer, but remember, here's the hottest, there's the coldest. So its surface temperature gets hotter. And then according to the chart, the luminosity was 1,200. So 1,200, here's 1,000, 1,200 be up here. So this is where that star would be, which is, here's our sun. So that is brighter than our sun. Yeah.
And pronunciation for the one star you can't pronounce the
Both of them.
one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Works for me. Ruby, did you get any wrong that we haven't already gone over? 52. See, one possible, ooh, this is a very good one. Thank you for asking about this one. See, one possible distance of Sirius, I think that's how you pronounce it, from the sun in millions of kilometers. I didn't mention that word, don't know anything about it myself, but in the reading, and in the table, they don't tell you the distance in the table, but in the reading somewhere, hang on, it tells you it is located between Mars and Jupiter. So we know this star, or this planet, this dwarf planet is between Mars and Jupiter. And, well, do we know where Mars and Jupiter are in terms of kilometers? We certainly do. Here's Mars, there's Jupiter. So this planet, this dwarf planet is listed somewhere between them. So any answer between 227.9 and 778.4 would have worked. So any answer that was between those two numbers. Sophia, did you get any wrong? Would you say 58? Calculate to the nearest tenth the rate of change in the volume of the Aral Sea in cubic kilometers per year in the 40 years from 1960 to 2000. Thank you, Sophia, for asking this one. Because, hey guys, I never taught you how to calculate the rate of change. Not once have I brought this up. Anytime the Earth Science Regents asks you to calculate, what does that mean you got to do? And what does that mean? Math, right? And anytime we do math in this class, what do you know? The formula is on the front page of the reference table. So there is a formula for the rate of change. It's the change in the value divided by time. So the value they're talking about for this question is the surface area of the Aral Sea. So between 1960 and 2000. So if we've got the two surface areas, how do we calculate the change between those two? Not yet. Subtract. So to get the top number, the change in value, we take the 66,485 minus 23,400, and you get that as your top number. Mrs. Ritz? Yep. Okay, bye. So that's the top number for the formula. How do we find the bottom number? The time. How do we find the time? How many years did this change occur in? Where'd you get 40 from? So the difference between 2000 and 1960, plus they also told you in the reading over these 40 years. So that's the bottom number, divide by 40. Oh, that was not what I gave you, was it? Was that what I gave you as an answer? Oh, sorry. No, was it? Ooh, I may have given you the wrong answer. Oh, no, because I'm doing the wrong question. It said volume. Don't fall for my trick. It didn't say surface area, it said volume. I fooled you because I didn't read the question carefully enough before I went over it. Please read the question carefully. So that is same concept. So you take the volume of 1,064 minus 400. Now divide that by 40 years and you get 16.6. And there would have been no wiggle room on that one. Your homework tonight is to finish this test. So you have to do questions 76 through 85. That's not that many. Get those done tonight.